Hey, let's talk about the recently updated Waldorf Pulse 2, which is right there. Um, we have an updated editor for it, and it is very good, even if I say it myself. Anyway, in this video, we're gonna insert the editor in live and get some audio going, and also assign MIDI track in live to get sample accurate sequencing from your DAW into the Pulse 2. I'm using USB connection, but USB is only good for MIDI. It doesn't transmit audio, so I have audio cables going into my console, and that's how we get the audio in our DAW. So let's get going. Insert the plugin first and go from there. From Pulse 2, if you go to the settings, let's see the key combination. Yeah, it is Shift and Global, so you can adjust your Pulse settings from there. By the way, this editor is not for the first generation Pulse. There is a own editor for that. This is for the Pulse 2, but saying that, we can import Pulse 1 presets into Pulse 2. Anyway, in Pulse 2 global settings, assign your MIDI channel to 1 and device ID to 0 to get the connection going straight away. This is the new UI we have. Let's make it a bit smaller so we can see all of the good stuff happening. There is a triangle in a corner which you can track and resize the UI for your needs. So we'll stick with this. So when we first open the editor, we have to assign the MIDI ports. So we're going to choose the USB and MIDI out as well. All of the editors we've done, they require direct connection from your computer to the hardware, otherwise the data is not being transmitted properly. So that was very fast synchronization. There's been a lot of changes in this version. First of all, we have new features like section menus, where you can store your favorite settings for oscillators, and you can copy section data. You can lock individual sections, and then we have this dice icon which randomizes that whole oscillator section. From the utilities menu, you can obviously adjust how the randomizer works. There is a way to exclude areas, etc. Right, so mod matrix has been progged in the bottom row on the UI. There is slots 1, 2, 3 and 4 available here, and more is available on a mod matrix tab, so you can see 5, 6, 7 and 8. So the tab, the UI look has changed, so you can have a different combination of whatever works for you. Then on a global page, you can see all of the settings that Pulse 2 has, and there is a whole new librarian which is a lot better. We have a shift click option to choose multiple items at once, and yeah, basically double click and you send the program to your Pulse. I'm not sure if you can make it, but the LED is blinking when data is coming in. And you can use computer up and down arrow keys or left to right arrow keys to browse through the presets, as long as you are on top of the librarian view. Bank edit menu has been revised, so all of the librarian stuff is available here, and everything else is on a utilities menu. And here is the Pulse Plus import option, so you can import those legacy programs into your Pulse 2. I have a couple of banks imported already, so yeah. Alright, in a librarian we have category filter and search function, so you can assign categories per programs, and you can then filter those, and the results will be shown on this list, so you can drag and drop data from this right view to the left view, and then use that to save your bank or overwrite it or store it into the hardware. There is a new feature, show quick edit, so every time you load a program it will update the parameters accordingly. So I've added the most important parameters here, which I most frequently use when I browse through sounds, like cutoff, resonance, and envelopes and mixer settings, and LFOs. If you paid attention, there is a new menu available here, which is phase for LFOs, and this is only for the limited edition Pulse 2, which is the blue one sold by Thomann. So there is a different OS on that Pulse 2 version, and that has the option to assign the LFO phase. If you ask gently, probably Waldorf will give you the OS for your black Pulse 2, the original one. I got that one, so I can easily test and verify that these functions are working as intended. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all about the Pulse 2. I'm not sure if there's anything else that has changed in the editor itself. So you can choose a UI for your own preference. I'll stick with the black one because it's easier for me to identify when I'm using the synth itself. Right, so let's do some audio tracks to get this going. So obviously we can see that the MIDI is coming when we enable input and play the keyboard. We get MIDI input coming in. So let's do audio. And where is the audio for Pulse 2? Too many inputs. Just a second. So that goes. should be there. I can see the audio in my console, but the console is not transmitting the audio into my DAW. Let's see what this audio stuff says. It says it's okay. Maybe it's the routing in my Dante network that is not working properly. Well, we can put it coming straight through. So that's now bypassing the DAW and coming from the console into my speakers. Okay, so you need to choose the input where your hardware is connected or your console, and then enable input monitoring to get the audio coming through. And next we will do MIDI track and assign the output straight into the Pulse 2. Obviously on Windows this is not possible at the moment because there is no multicast drivers at this very moment. So there is Pulse 2, it's already enabled, so we will choose that one and assign it to channel 1. And now whenever you do sequencing on your DAW, use the MIDI track for the notes and then use the editor track for automation, and yeah, that's it. When you open up your project, all of the current data from the UI will be transmitted into your Pulse if the MIDI ports are present on your computer. So if the MIDI has been disconnected or the hardware is not toggled on, it's not going to transmit anything. Make sure to power up your Pulse before opening your session. Right, so what else? Automation. Yeah, let's do automation. So in instrument track, we'll click this unfold device parameters button and then configure. And now if we move the knobs from the UI, we will see those parameters appearing in the list. And we can now move those and see the parameter movements in the UI. Also, if you do parameter movements from the hardware, you can see the parameters moving on the UI. So that's very neat. Okay, yeah, that's automation. MIDI, insert the plugin. Is there anything else? Yeah, don't use MIDI devices so that one passes information from, let's say, using MIDI through, it's not going to work because some synths filter out the system exclusive messages that the editor sends to the hardware. So let's say that which synths have MIDI through? Micro Q, radius. So let's say that my MIDI out from computer goes to Micro Q, and from there MIDI through goes to radius. So it's not going to work because the MIDI data needs to come right from your computer into the synth itself. So in order to make the editor work properly. Alright, yeah, I think that's it. I'll be doing a separate video for Pulse 1, which is right there, and the editor has been updated, so it works on most recent Macs and Windows. There is also AAX for those who use Pro Tools, and VST3 and VST2 and Audio Unit, obviously, and the standalone version. From the UI, there is a global history available. There's option to show tooltips if you want to see what knob does and what it does. Show bubble gives you the parameter values as you move them. Double click resets the knobs to last edited, last loaded value. So let's say I load a program from Librarian, and that initial state of the preset is then being recalled when you double click on a parameter. Or you can use a default value, which is the value that is being defined as an initial value. Then we have an option to show wooden edges if you so wish to do. There is also show keyboard, so we can play the keyboard with the computer keyboard. So that's pretty good. Alright, I think that's it for Pulse 2. So I hope you enjoy the update, and if you have any questions, hop over to our Discord server. You can find the link from our website, and if you want to support our work, get the plugin license, and you can obviously support us via Ko-fi.com. You can find the Ko-fi link from our website as well. So yeah, I'll be doing a deep dive into the Librarian on a separate video, because it's quite universal how we've built the Librarian, so all of the editors has the same way of working with the Librarian. Okay, on to the next one. I'm gonna be doing the Pulse 1 editor quite shortly, so stay tuned. Bye.